All right, so I am going to be showing you guys how to complete your sandwich with layers assignment on your Google Classroom. I'm just going to go ahead and take a look at that right here. It'll be under your class assignments. So the instructions say to practice using layers in the digital art app of your choice and create a sandwich using the attached photos with the following ingredients: bottom bread, turkey, cheese, tomato, lettuce, pickles, and top bread. Each ingredient should be on its own layer and labeled. You may use a Google image search to find and download pictures of your own ingredients if you don't want to use the ones provided. You may add any additional ingredients you want. Don't be afraid to get creative. Make sure you remove the white background. I'll be showing you how to do that using the magic wand tool. And you're going to save your work as a JPEG file and upload it to this assignment. Go ahead and show you the example. So this is what your finished work should look like when you're done. You have your 2 pieces of bread and all your ingredients in between, and they're all spread out so I can see that you've included each of your ingredients. I am using Photopea to complete this assignment today. You can use whatever digital drawing app you feel comfortable using as long as you can create layers in that app, because we are learning how to work with layers for this assignment. This is very similar to the hamburger project that we just did, but it is using pictures instead of using the drawing tools. So I have actually given you guys a Google Drive folder. So if you click on that, it will open up and you will see all of the pictures that I used to create my sandwich, and you guys can use these pictures as well. You're going to need to open them by double clicking on them and download them to your device by clicking this download button. So that will download for you, and you can locate wherever they download and put them all in one file to kind of keep yourself nice and organized. And that is how you can use these pictures that I've already added for you, or you can use a Google image search to find your own pictures and download them. So I'm going to be doing this in Photopea, like I said. I'm going to go to New Project and click on that to create a new project. I'm going to name it My Name Sandwich. I'm going to select the size, and I'm just going to go back to where it said photo and had those templates, and I'm going to choose the 5x7 again, just like we did for our hamburger. And then I'm going to hit create. So now I have my new document with the background layer. And now I am going to start adding my layers to create my sandwich. And I'm going to do this by importing those files of each of the pictures of the sandwich ingredients. To do that, I'm going to go to where it says File, and I am going to select Open and Place. So it's opening in my graphic arts folder, and I have a additional folder inside my graphic arts folder that's called Sandwich. And that's where all of the pictures of the sandwich ingredients were saved when I saved them to my computer. So I'm going to start by clicking the bread, and I'm going to select it, and then hit open. And that is going to place the bread on my document. Using the Move tool, I can click and drag this bread all over the place to put it wherever I want. I can also click and drag the little corner node on my bread, making sure that Transform Controls is selected to adjust the size of my bread to make it a little bit bigger if I need to. All right. Once I'm done moving it around and adjusting the size, I'm just going to hit enter. And now I have my bread here. The next thing we need to do is we need to make a couple of adjustments to this layer so that we can edit this layer. So you might notice if you click on the eraser tool or on the brush tool and you try to draw on it, you're going to get this message that pops up and says, smart object must be rasterized first. Rasterize, and we're going to click OK, because we can't edit or draw on top of or erase any part of this photograph unless we rasterize it. This basically turns it into pixels from a picture file. So we're going to hit OK. And that's going to allow this picture to become a normal picture that we can now draw on. So you see I'm just drawing on it. So what I actually want to do is I want to remove the white background. So if you see right here in your little preview, you'll see your little preview of your sandwich, and you see this, there's a white background that goes around it. Most pictures, especially the ones that I've provided for you, have a white background. To get rid of it, we're going to find a tool called the Magic Wand tool. This is a tool that allows you to select an area on your picture that's all the same color. So to find this tool, you're looking at your toolbar, and here we have the top tool on our toolbar called the Move tool, and we're just going down from there. The one that you're looking for looks like a little bean shape inside of a dotted line box. This is called the Object Selection tool, but we want to use one of the tools that's hidden under this option. And to get to that, we're going to right-click right here where it says Object Selection. It's going to give us a couple of additional tools in a drop-down menu, and we're going to click the one that says Magic Wand. So now I'm going to click right next to the crust of my bread, because I know there's a white box that goes around here on the outside. So I'm going to click just right next to the crust, and you're going to notice a dotted line appear. So this has created a selection that has selected all of this white background around the sandwich. To get rid of that, I'm just going to hit the backspace button on my keyboard, and that's going to delete the background of this bread. And you'll notice you'll see it here when it happens. So I'm going to go ahead and hit backspace now. And now you'll notice in the little preview, there's no more white square around our bread. To get rid of this dotted line, I'm going to go to where it says select, and I'm going to select deselect. So I will no longer have that area of the sandwich selected. And that dotted line will disappear. So now I have my bread for my top, or for my bottom layer. So I'm going to change the name of that layer. It already says bread because that was the name of the file that I uploaded. I'm just going to change it to bottom bread because I know that's the bottom slice, and I'm going to hit enter. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add our next ingredient, which is the turkey. So we're going to go back to where it says File. We're going to select Open and Place. It's going to open up the file where we saved all of our ingredient pictures, and I'm going to select the one that's called turkey and hit Open. So that's just added that to our layers. You can see it opened as a new layer, and it's called turkey. So now you don't even have to name it. It's already named for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the Move tool. I'm going to click and drag to move my turkey around. It definitely needs to be bigger, but I'm going to remove this white background first before I make it bigger, so that way it's easier to tell how big to make it. So again, I am going to have to rasterize this, because again, if you try to click on the brush tool and edit it, it's going to get this message. I'm going to hit cancel this time because I want to show you a different way to rasterize this. If you don't try to draw on it first, you won't get that message. So to go ahead and just find how to rasterize it, you're going to click on this layer on your little layer window. You're going to right click, and it's going to give you some options, and you're going to select the one that says rasterize. Okay. There's also a third way to rasterize your picture. If you have your image clicked right here, you're going to go to where it says layer, and you're going to go to where it says rasterize. And if it needs to be rasterized, this will be clickable right here. But because I already rasterized it, it is not clickable anymore because I've already done it. So that's just one more way to find the option to rasterize your image. All right, so now I'm able to edit and erase this area, this white area of my turkey. So I'm going to go back to my Magic Wand tool. And once I've selected this Magic Wand tool, I can now use the W hotkey. Like you can see in parentheses, it says W. You can use that to quickly select that tool. So I've got my Magic Wand tool selected, and I'm going to click in this space outside of the turkey. And that's going to select all of this white area behind my turkey. And I'm going to hit backspace to delete it. And now it's gone. I'm going to go to select and click deselect to get rid of that dotted line area. I'm going to go to my Move tool, which is going to select this area around my turkey and give me these little nodes that I can now drag and pull to change the shape. And I'm just going to make my turkey a little bit bigger So it looks like a nice amount of turkey to put on a sandwich. And then I'm going to hit enter to complete my change shape. So now I've got my turkey layer. I'm going to go ahead and add my cheese next. So going back to File, going to Open and Place, pulling up that file where I have all my ingredients saved. I'm going to select the one that says cheese and hit Open. And now it's just going to be repeating those steps for every single one of the pictures that I have saved. And I'm going to upload them individually, remove their backgrounds, and arrange them on top of my sandwich to assemble my sandwich. Okay, so now that I'm on the pickle layer, I'm going to show you an extra thing that you can do to create more of the same picture. So I have these two pickles right here. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger, but I want there to be maybe two more pickles just like this down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this layer, and I'll show you how to do that. First, you want to make sure that your Move tool is selected. And while you have your Move tool selected, you're going to hit the Shift key and the Alt key on your keyboard. And I'm holding Shift and Alt down at the same time. And then while I'm holding the Shift key and the Alt key down, I'm going to click and drag on my pickles and pull it down. And what's just happened is it's created a copy of those pickles. And I'm going to let go, and you'll see a new layer appear that says pickles copy. So that's just two more of those pickles, that same picture, just on a new layer that's been copied. So that's a really easy way to create another duplicate layer of the pickles. I want to do the same thing with my bottom bread layer. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. I'm going to hold down Control Alt, and I'm going to click and drag my bottom bread, and that's going to make a copy of that bottom bread layer. Of course, you could always go in and you could just open and place another picture of that same bread, but this is kind of like an easier way to do it, and this way you don't have to delete the background. So both of these pieces of bread are underneath all these ingredients because they're located at the very bottom of this list of layers that we've created. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the name of this copy that I made of my bottom bread. And I'm going to change the name to top bread. And I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm going to click and drag that layer up to the top of my list of ingredients. All right, so now my top bread is the very top, and now it's on top of all of those other ingredients. So when I put my bread over on the top, you can see that it's a finished sandwich, and that top bread is on top of all those other ingredients. So you can kind of play around and click and drag all of these layers to move them to different parts of the sandwich. If you want to rearrange all of your layers and have your turkey, maybe you want your turkey on the bottom and your cheese on the top, you can kind of customize it just by dragging these layers around and playing with how they are arranged. So once I am happy with my arrangement with all of my ingredients, I am going to make sure I have them arranged so that they're all spread out so that I can see all of the different ingredients that you used. So I'll go down to my bottom bread and I'll click and drag that down here so I can see it. I'll go to my turkey, I'll click and drag that so I can see that. My tomatoes, just drag them down a little bit lower so I can see those. You may notice that when I deleted the background on my tomatoes, it didn't delete completely because there was a little bit of a shadow right here where the color changed, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I just got rid of the majority of that white background. I've got my cheese. I'm going to go ahead and drag my lettuce over here so I can see that a little bit more. I can see my cheese, I can see my pickles, and I can see my top bread. So I'm going to go ahead and save this because it's finished. So again, we're going to go to File. If you are not finished and you want to continue working on this or come back later, you are going to go to Save as PSD, and that's going to save that to your computer. And then to save it as a file that you want to turn in to complete your assignment, you're going to go to Export As, and you're going to click JPEG. And that's going to download it. Well, it's going to give you the little preview screen first to just show you all of the settings. The only thing we need to worry about is clicking the Save button right here. And it's going to download that to your computer. So let me just show you really quick what happens when you save your file as a PSD. Remember, saving it as a PSD, and then you're closing it because maybe you have to take a break, maybe you have to go to sleep, maybe you've got to go do some chores, and you've closed Photopea, and you need to now open that file so you can continue working. So to save your work, so you can go back and open it later, let me just go ahead. I'm going to show you how to open the file that you saved as a PSD to continue working on it. So when we close all these files, or if you close the browser, all of the work is gone. But if you saved your work as a PSD, you can just go back to photopea.com and you can click where it says Open from Computer. This is going to allow you to select files that are on your computer. And so you can see here where I saved this file, Mrs. Wade Sandwich, and it's saved as a PSD file, like it said when we clicked on that to save it. And so I'm going to click on that and hit Open. And that's going to open that sandwich file that I made. And I'm going to have all of my layers here that I can go back and I can change, or I can add, or I can adjust them because I hit File and saved it as a PSD. Now, if you try to open your file that you saved as a JPG, which is the one that you're turning in, you're not going to be able to edit it. So let me just show you that. So right here, this says Mrs. Wade Sandwich, and it's the one that I saved as a JPG. It does not say PSD like it does right here. So I'm going to click Open. And you're going to see that right over here on your layers, you're not going to have any layers. If they've all been compressed, like it's just one solid picture right now that we cannot change. So this is why it's important that if you are planning on editing or continuing to work on your file, if you have to step away from the computer, you want to save it as a PSD first, so you can go back and edit it. And then once you're completely done, you're going to save it as a JPEG. If you want to save it as both, you absolutely can. So that way you have a working file that you can go back and edit, and then you have a finished, project file that you're going to turn in for your assignment. So hopefully that will help you guys. If you need to put a pause on your work and come back to it at a later time, you can save it as both of those files. So that way you have one you can edit and one that you can turn in. So I hope that helps. So once you have saved the file to your computer and you're ready to turn it in, you're going to go to where it says Add or Create on your assignment. You're going to upload it either from your Google Drive if it's saved there, or from a file on your computer. So I'm uploading it from my computer. So I'm going to go where it says upload. I'm going to go to browse. I'm going to find that assignment. So I don't want to upload the PSD because me, your teacher, I will not be able to look at it and open it if you upload a PSD. So you're going to select the one that you saved as a JPEG. And if you hover over the file, you'll see a little message pop up and tell you that this is the one that's a JPEG. It says item type JPEG. So I click on that and hit open. That will upload it, and it'll have your work right up here. And then once it's finished loading, you can go ahead and turn in, and then just check and make sure everything looks good, and then hit turn in again. And you will have submitted your work. So there you go. Please let me know if you have any questions.